A word of caution. This content is gay, so if you have a problem with two guys or two girls kissing each other, I suggest you leave. Alright? Good.
Before we begin, I'd just like to thank another month of support from Yvette Dominguez, Matthew McGann, Daniel Tischler, and Cody Smith. You guys help keep the channel running with your generous support from Patreon. If you guys want to be shouted out to like this, make sure to become a Patreon at my Patreon. We are still trying to improve things, so I know it's no excuse, the amount of delay that I have, but with the community strike, it's been rough. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Boop. Hello guys, welcome back to your dry delight. Let's get back to the show, alright? We only have one save. I like the typewriter feel, although I feel like the text could mesh more. With a small sigh, I rub the back of my neck with a hand, unsure how to phrase what I want to say. Wait, what? I've been through this. Miserably. I worry about you too, Leslie. Not like I can help it since you send yourself on sketchy jobs. Yeah, I've been through this. No. Well, we're gonna have to wait a bit. Sorry guys, that was very unprofessional. Alright, hold on. I'll just come back to this in a bit. We'll be right back. And boop. Hello guys! We're back. Sorry, Okay, I think we're back. Laughter of children outside the window, the blinding sun. Yep, that's how you wake up. Why is our office so goddamn bright? Oh my head. The things I do for this job, I swear. As I sit in my chair, sipping my morning coffee and trying to ignore this horrible hangover, my eyes drift up to the clock. Leslie's even later than normal. I hope nothing's wrong. If he doesn't come in soon, maybe I should just leave a note and go nap in my car. Good morning! As if I'd summoned him from the bowels of sunny hell, Leslie suddenly bursts into the office. In one hand, he's holding a stack of paperwork, and in the other... Is that a cake? Fresh from Frank's bakery. I tell you, those fellas really nailed the casada cake. Leslie reaches into the paper bag to grab a piece and happily stuffs his face, chewing away with relish. That's the exact same cake Mayor asked for last night, isn't it? Is this some kind of conspiracy? Is every man in Cleveland eating these cakes except me? Oh? Pausing, Leslie leans in to peer at my face, frowning gently. You look a little under the weather, Richter.
Your hair, yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to remember Leslie's voice. I think I gave him a Cartman one.
Your hair's all messy too, and I haven't even got my hands on it yet. Wait, don't tell me, you're not hungover, are you?
Richter,
you naughty boy.
Listen, boss, could we just get to our reports?
Changing the subject, I see. Absolutely shameless.
Leslie seems to think my hangover is the funniest thing in the world, chuckles all the way over to his office chair. Yeah, laugh it out of your system while I sit here hoping for spontaneous eclipse. I'll let you start off then, my little potting partner.
What did you find out last night? In between shots, that is.
Ahem. Well, from what I heard, it sounds like the Italians aren't running the speakeasy, or even most of the liquor business. If I had to guess, it's either a big street gang or the Jewish mafia.
The Jewish mafia?
It's true, they've been growing in size around here lately, or so I've heard. What makes you think it's them, though? I heard a couple fellas talking about the Italian mafia's competition, so it can't be them. After that, the man I drank with, he was Jewish, and I have a pretty strong feeling he's some kind of mobster.
Tell me more.
Perking up curiously, Leslie props his chin on his hands and leans forward to gaze at me from across his desk. He's got a bit of whipped cream on one corner of his mouth, but I pretend not to notice. Guy said his name was Mayer, for starters. He was well dressed, a little too confident, and... Should I tell Leslie about the flirting? I mean, he doesn't really need to know, and I sort of like to enjoy the memory without being scolded, but...
And?
Do I have to choose? He seemed important. I think he's important. Maybe a spy, maybe an assassin, not sure.
Important? Why do you think he was talking to you?
Beats me, maybe he just wanted a drinking partner. He drums his fingers on his desk, frowning thoughtfully.
He didn't see through your cover?
Sure didn't act like it if he did, and I'm still alive, right?
Fair point. Maybe your lying skills really have improved.
His chair squeaks as he leans back, propping his feet up on the desk. Oh yeah, Dante. And I just cleaned the mud off it yesterday too.
So he's important, maybe part of the mafia, but he didn't bump you off.
What does that mean? To bump off is slang for to kill. It is thought to have its roots in early underworld criminal slang, likely coined in the early 20th century. Neat.
What do you plan to do about him?
I was getting to that.
Oh, I'm listening.
He gestures for me to continue. Mayor offered me a deal for information.
A deal? You're serious?
I nod, barely resisting the urge to rub my forehead. Details on the mob in exchange for... This is so ridiculous I can barely say it out loud. In exchange for a cake.
Oh, come off it, Richter. Tell me what he actually wanted.
I know you're trying to get revenge for me teasing you, but... I'm being serious, boss. He wanted a cake.
Ooh.
Pointing at the paper bag that holds Leslie's half-eaten breakfast, I put on the straightest face I can manage. It's from the neighborhood around Little Italy, right? Obviously that place owned by the Italian gang, so he can't get too close, but as for why he wants one... I've got no clue, boss. Maybe a kid at home who likes them? Sweet tooth? Forbidden fruit?
It reeks of a setup, Richter. Isn't that obvious?
Leslie wrinkles his nose, about the reaction I'd expect, and not really not an unfair one. I thought about that, believe me. But if it was a setup, why would he invite me back? Why wouldn't it have been easier to get rid of me right there? And he could have made his offer sound more serious too. Anyone with half a brain would be suspicious.
That's true, I suppose. I still don't like it though, not the one bit.
Hold on guys, let me just reply to someone real quick.
Still like it though, not one bit, sorry.
Got distracted for a bit. He lets out a heavy sigh, sticking a hand into the bag with his cake and tearing off a piece to idly munch on.
Well, while you were having the time of your life last night, I was chatting with Mr. FBI. Apparently one of the city's politicians is hosting a big party at a hotel tonight. Thanks to our contact, I've got us passes inside. Because you know what's going to be at that party, my dear Richter?
A lot of liquor.
A hell of a lot of liquor, probably provided by the main source in Cleveland.
Leslie and I exchange knowing looks. I can already see what he's getting at. So you want to scope it out for information?
It's a good bet and a safe one. Once folks get drunk, there's no telling what kind of juicy information we'll get out of them. If we're lucky, some of it might even be related to our case.
I wouldn't count on it. We snicker. In our line of work, both of us have seen our fair share of these ritzy orgies. Ritzy. Oh, for f***'s sake, hold up. Glamorous and stylish. Got it.
With your smarts and my good looks, we're bound to find something out. And if you want my honest opinion...
He goes thoughtfully silent for a moment, then in a more serious look darkens his brow.
I think this rendezvous at the Speak is too risky.
Even if Mayor doesn't mean you any harm, any other mob types around there might not feel the same way. But I also don't think you're green enough to walk into a death trap. Gee, thanks, boss. When I roll my eyes, Leslie offers me a soft, affectionate smile, the kind he only puts on once in a blue moon. I'm heading to the party either way, but I trust your judgment, Richter. You can decide for yourself where to go tonight. What'll it be? I'm going for the cake! As much as I hate to disappoint Leslie, my instincts are telling me the speakeasy's worth a gamble. It's a risk, no doubt about it, but one I feel I have to take. Yes! I don't even have to choose. Shifting out my chair, I approach Leslie's desk and lean over it, giving him a firm look to show my conviction. Sorry, boss. I'm gonna try my luck with Mayor. There's a lead there, I just know it. He doesn't look too thrilled. But true to his word, he soon lets out a good-natured sigh.
Heartlessly leaving a partner in the dust, so this is what you'd come to, eh? Fine, I'll just enjoy the free party food by myself. Not even going to bring me back a sandwich. Ask your new friend for one.
Leslie hops and I snicker at his playful sulkiness, although I have to wonder if a little bit of it isn't genuine. Alright. But if you go, I promise
me you'll station a few officers near the speakeasy just in case something goes wrong. You never know when trouble might pop up.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll make the calls this morning.
Good boy. Then I won't worry. Well, I'll worry less about you.
You just have to ruffle my hair. Luckily, it was already messy, so he can't inflict much more damage.
Now let's cannonball into the stack of paperwork.
Been looking forward to it all morning. We spend the rest of the day going through reports, most of them related to Italian gang activity on the east side. Doesn't exactly put me at ease for when I leave the office, heading towards Little Italy to pick up Mayor's cake. I keep picturing his face and my mind wanders to how he might react when I hand this to him. Will it really make him happy? Aside from those distracting thoughts though, my bakery trip is an uneventful one. Prized cargo in hand, I end up at the speakeasy just as night's settling in. Welcome, sir. Please enjoy your night. The doorman gives his customary greeting and I casually nod while stepping past. Oh yeah, I should change the song. Here I am, a detective on a risky job, shuffling into a speakeasy with a cake in a paper bag like some kid holding on to his school lunch. Of my finest moment. The place is packed full, just like last night, which means I can't really pick Mayor out easily. I guess if I hang around the bar long enough, maybe he'll show up. Oh, it's Mr. Jack. Oh, it's Mr. Jack. A coarse voice, different from Mayor's growls out behind me. Oh, it's Dollman. I'm gonna pat you down, make sure you aren't healed, understand? I know what that means in context. Ooh, no one did this to me last night, what's the big idea? Would you shut up? I'm not here to answer questions. Before I have a chance to protest further, he grabs me and starts patting my pockets, roughly feeling around. Ugh. Sorry buddy, I'm gonna be taking this for tonight. He pulls out the piece I've been carrying as insurance just in case things went south. Well, now I feel even more like a defenseless kid, great. Just don't pull any dumb moves and you'll be fine. We like to keep things real cordial around here, got it? Yeah, got it. Good, then we'll be heading to the back room. Whatever you... Wait, the back room? Wait, where are you taking me? Wait! The man suddenly grabs my wrist, pulling me along to the speakeasy's perimeter. My heart starts to pound in my chest. What am I getting dragged into? I told the officers not to get too close to the place unless I was gone for a while, but who knows what'll happen in the meantime. My semi-captor takes me to the back of the parlor and down a long, dark corridor. The music and laughter fade slowly into the distance, replaced by only the sound of our footsteps. Finally, we reach a black door, and the man knocks firmly on it several times. Come in. Is this mayor's office? The door opens into a warmly lit, spacious parlor. No, not exactly the scary dank room I'd been expecting. And there in the middle of a lush couch sits a familiar tall man. Mr. Eastman, your friend's here. Yes, I can see that. Thank you for bringing him in. Make sure no one intrudes on us if you'd be so kind. Yes, sir. With a polite nod, the other man departs, closing the door behind him with a soft click. Once he's gone, Mayor and I stare at each other for a few seconds in silence. I can only think that this dramatic reintroduction was deliberate. He knows I can read the subtext. Well, I brought your cake. I lift the bag in my hand and shake it a little, laughing nervously. I knew I could count on you. A pleased smile slowly spreads over his lips, and the sight makes me relax a little. He pats the couch beside him, and I don't exactly feel like I'm in a position to refuse. I approach and tentatively lower myself down, sinking into the soft cushions. Why, you're as stiff as a sheet of glass! What's wrong, Jack? Your secretary back there wasn't exactly the most gentle of fellas. I apologize, they're used to dealing with coarser individuals than yourself, you see, and I forgot to tell him to use kid gloves. I know what that means. It's not that. I just wasn't expecting quite all of this. All of this? You mean a nice back room in a speakeasy? Mayor gives me a faux pas, yeah, that's French. Faux innocent look. Right, that's obviously what I was referring to. Anyway, here, your prize. I hope it didn't get smushed when your lackey was jostling me around. I offer Mayor the bag with the cake, and his eyes light up when he takes it from my hands. Wonderful, I can smell it already. Oh, that is Deutsche. Oh wait, no, that's Jewish. It looks Deutsche, hold on. How do I say it? Is there a guide? Sie schlägt zu essen fremde Yeah, it is Deutsche. Sie schlägt zu essen fremden Breit. Is this hard to eat a stranger's bread? Alright. Sie schlägt zu essen fremden Breit, my rabbi used to say, but I like to pretend it doesn't apply to cakes. He gazes longingly at the bag for a moment, then sets it to one side. A smile finds its way onto my lips before I even realize it. The way he likes sweets so much really reminds me of Leslie. Only he's hotter. Ah! Oh, before I forget, I have something for you, Jack. Also, yeah, that's a good title card. Mayor leans around the edges of the sofa, grunting softly before straightening back up with a bottle in hand. It's full of a golden liquid, but I don't recognize the label. You wanted something a little sweeter, right? You remembered? Yeah, I have an excellent memory, especially when it comes to people who catch my interest. He takes a glass from the table beside him and starts to pour me a drink, humming softly. I notice that he's already got a half-empty cup of coffee for himself, black as the night. This is Slivovitz, sweetened with honey. I've never sampled it myself, but one of my men swears by it. I prefer to take my sweets in something of a different fashion, though. Coffee and sweets are great. Mayor hands me the glass, letting his fingers brush against mine for a moment longer than necessary. Oh! Ah, thanks, you're quite a host. You expected anything less? He turns a little bit on the sofa, propping one elbow against the back so he can gaze at me head on. Feeling slightly embarrassed under his stare, I take a curious sip of the drink. Damn, it goes down easy. Good enough that I can see why you're not serving it out there. A man has to make a living, unfortunately. Buying and transporting high-quality goods is expensive, not to mention risky. I'd much prefer to serve good liquor over the common swill, but it's not quite feasible yet. He pauses for a thoughtful moment, though his eyes flick back to my face soon after. By the way, did I tell you guys about the time that I kinda dated some kind of mafia boss or something? There were a lot of guys who were asking me a lot of questions, and I was like, look, I just met him in the mall. And also I wound up tutoring his kids, and apparently that wound up messy. Anyway, well, about that information I owe you, assuming you're still interested in work. As I nurse my drink, Mayor begins to describe the main mafia figures in the city, along with the various rackets they keep in great detail. Combined with everything else I've seen tonight, I think it confirms my suspicions. He's near the top of the underworld food chain in Cleveland. He's not even trying to hide it. In fact, I think he's just playing a game with me, seeing how far we can take this before one of us has to state the obvious. Knowing that, you would think I'd be incredibly uncomfortable right now, but for whatever reason, being around Mayor puts me completely at ease. Maybe it's his disarming casual mannerism, sort of soft and smooth way he speaks. There's nothing aggressive or thug-like about him. He's perfectly composed. Occasionally, he shifts on the sofa beside me, brushing my leg with his own in a way that can't possibly be an accident. Am I gonna be a gunsel? I can't tell what's going on behind his twinkling green eyes, but there's something playfully devious about the glances he keeps giving me. And I think that would make our trade just about even, no? He finishes his thorough description with an impish wink, taking a sip of his coffee. You sure are familiar with all the gang activity here, aren't you? If I didn't know it better, I'd almost think you controlled some of it yourself. Me? Why, I'm not sure what would lead you to such an outrageous conclusion. Instead of looking offended though, Mayor presses in a little closer, his smirk suddenly growing mischievous. After all, it's rather rash to assume things about people you don't know particularly well. Don't you agree, Richter? How do you? He smugly lifts the cake bag, rustling it before my face. Your name is on the label. A mistake I wouldn't expect from you if you'll pardon my rudeness. Oh my god! Really? Were you distracted at the time you purchased it? I'm not about to mention how I was daydreaming about him when I bought the cake. I think I'd rather just let my professional pride take the fall. Of course you're a detective too, and I can guess why you're here. But please, don't take it as a blow to your acting skills. I'm just well acquainted with a number of professional liars, you see? If you already know so much about me, why are you pouring me drinks rather than having me shot and dumped in the alley? Mayor clicks his tongue, lightly wagging a finger at me. Violence is not how I prefer to do business, Richter. Hold on, I'm trying to be sexy here. It's only ever a temporary solution. Violence begets violence, which is why you have warring Italian crime families rather than one consolidated, powerful body. No, in most circumstances, I would much rather make friends than enemies. Friends like you, which is why you're not being dumped in an alley. Although I would never harm a shainapunim like you, no matter what my moral code was. Pretty face. Oh, Yiddish! Shainapunim. Or... Sorry, I made that sound Indian, but how do you say that, guys? Leave a comment. Shay. He shifts on the sofa again, this time letting his legs stay resting against my own. Ooh, spicy! I swallowed, relieved at Mayor's explanation, but acutely aware of his face being a mere few inches to my right. Am I gonna be your gunzel? Make me your gunzel, baby. You certainly aren't like any other guy I've met, law-abiding or otherwise. Why don't you tell me more about what it's like being in this risky business? I clumsily attempt to slide the conversation in another direction, daring to glance over at Mayor. No, please, I know a one-sided agreement when I see one. With the gloating air of someone who's just caught their opponent cheating, Mayor shakes his head. I'll answer a few questions of yours, but only on the condition I can ask questions of my own. I swear on my honor to answer with the truth, and you'll do the same, but we can each avoid one question in exchange for a favor. Does that strike you as fair? Yeah, sure, why not? Stone casually rises up at the end, not so subtly daring me to accept. I think I'd be an idiot to expect a businessman like yourself to play fair, but alright, I'll bite. That's what I like to hear. He gives a rakish, teasing grin, all too pleased. As a gesture of goodwill, I'll even let you start. Really, how do you make money with that kind of generosity? Oh, you'd be surprised. As Mayor chuckles to himself, I pause and ponder just what to ask. What do I most want to know about? I'll ask his history. I feel like I'll get more from it. Tell me about your background, your history. What was it like for you growing up? Oh. My question seems to catch him off guard. But his surprise quickly shifts into a gentle, pleased expression, and he nods in his acknowledgement. Might as well get some background on him. Get on his friendly side. I was raised in a cozy little Jewish community in Missouri where I lived until a few years ago. I'm surprised you'd find this hard to believe. I'm sure you'll find this hard to believe, but I always kept to myself as a boy. I rarely spoke to anyone. I suppose you could say I was afraid of rejection. Our rabbi was my closest friend. We ate corned beef sandwiches and talked about baseball on the weekends. Looking back now, I think he was just as lonely as I. There you go. Alright, hold on, I'm just recording. He chuckles softly, gaze flicking down to the coffee table and lingering on his cup. I can't imagine Mayor ever being withdrawn. I guess he didn't develop his charisma until later. Several days later, after my bar mitzvah, a few boys who I'd never seen before approached me on the street. You know what? Hold on. Can I save? Yes, overwrite this save. It better work. You're a tall, strong guy. Why the hell are you playing with the rabbi instead of making money? I realized I didn't have much of an answer. We formed a merry little crew. It was enjoyable to have that kind of attention from my peers, and my desire to fit in was why I began doing jobs with them. Eventually, my name garnered a certain reputation. The association grew, people started looking up to me, and somehow I ended up on the top of it all. Mayor's eyes returned to me. I can't really read the true emotion behind them. Nostalgia, regret, or satisfaction. The rabbi, you know whatever happened to him? We don't speak anymore. He gives me one of those brief, thin-lipped smiles, the kind you only show to be polite. Again, it's hard to see through what it means, but I can detect a little longing. Okay, that was pretty vague. Is he dead or is he disconnected? You know. I'd always separated mobsters from real people in my head, but like you were all just monsters who'd lost their humanity. But listening to you talk, I guess it makes me realize how we're not so different after all. I twirl my glass between my fingers, unsure if that knowledge makes me more happy or grim. He studies me in silence for a little while. It's not an awkward silence though, just a thoughtful one. Well, your turn. For a question. You have one? Oh, I have many! When the silence finally breaks, he gives a wry grin, his eyes momentarily flicking down to my mouth. Yeah, I'm listening. Alright, what's your greatest fear? My greatest fear? You know, I'd like to have this conversation with someone. I mean, a lot of people that I meet are so stick up their muds. Yeah, it's just really... it's stressful, you know? He nods, watching me expectantly. I'm gonna watch some old-timey-wimey movies, see if I can learn how to talk to people in bars and stuff. No immediate answers pop into my head, so I mull over the question for a moment. My greatest fear, something that would keep me from sleeping at night. What do I answer? Hurting innocent people? Oh? I nod, forcing a brief awkward smile as I take another sip of my drink. Mayor doesn't add anything further though. Is he waiting for me to elaborate? I just think it's my duty, well the duty of everyone in law enforcement, to make sure Americans are safe and happy. That's why we exist. It's not just a job you do for money, it's a job that lets you go home feeling better about the world, even if it's just a little bit. He tilts his head a little to one side, eyes glimmering at me. Then his hand slips onto my shoulder, resting there gently for a few seconds before squeezing it. Ah! Very admirable, Richter. Although I have to wonder just where Volstead fits into that. He trails off curiously. Is he trying to lead me somewhere with that vague comment? Well, it's your turn, isn't it? Why don't you ask me something light-hearted? I don't mind if you get more personal. He leans in a little more, hand still lingering on my shoulder. I can smell his light cologne and the subtle, earthy scent of coffee. I've been trying desperately to keep my nerves under control, but it's getting harder and harder the more Mayor teases into my personal space and I cannot move my mouth. I'm doing it! Do you ever have a lover? A wife? You must, right? Being the cat's meow and all. No. No. Hold on. How do I get sexy? How do I make it feel like... Mayor responds casually, offering a little shrug when I shoot a glance over at him. Is it my imagination or does he look incredibly smug right now? Why are you wearing that expression? Are you so very surprised? Or maybe you're relieved? No, just surprised is all. I really didn't think you'd still be a bachelor. And why is that? Because I'm the cat's meow? Richter, you may say I'm the cat's meow, but in reality, I'm the kitty. I can't say the P word. Can we just get on with the next question? Pausing, Mayor makes a show of tapping a finger against his bottom lip, turning his eyes towards the ceiling. It's such an obvious display that I know for a fact he's already got his question picked out and he's just toying with me. I drain the last of my glass in an attempt to act casual, turning my head away slightly. I've got one! What memory do you have of your first kiss? Please describe it in great detail. I nearly choke on my drink, so this is what he was planning. I'm listening, very attentively. Hold on, Damn it, I know this is what he wants me to say, but it'll be a cold day in hell before I tell this guy I've never properly kissed anyone before. Say it! Can I just trade a favor? Oh! Oh? Oh? Don't feign surprise, you bastard. In that case, I suppose I'll take you up on that favor right now. I reflexively squeeze my eyes shut, sucking in a breath. It feels like my chest is going to explode. Richter? What are you doing? He doesn't look too impressed. I thought he... No, of course he wouldn't. He's too much of a gentleman. Also, I like his clothes. I kinda want that back. I want that style back. Just a little dizzy from the drink. So what do you want from me for the favor? Well, you'll probably think me a fool for saying this, but... Mayor lifts it up and sighs happily, slipping his hands inside to unwrap the cake. I'd like you to share it with me. Ah! He nods, pulling back the paper wrapping to reveal the deliciously looking, spongy white dessert. I kinda wanna know what the casada cake looks like. I'd feel guilty enjoying it by myself, especially considering you bought it for me. So I would prefer we savor it together. Does that sound agreeable? I haven't had a thing since lunch, so you're asking the right guy. Should we just cut it in half or what? No. You're going to feed it to me. I blink at Mayor, unsure if I heard him correctly. Yes, feed it to him. Also, will this... Yay! Screenshot saved! I definitely didn't mishear that. If you want to, then should I get a fork or... That won't be necessary. Use your hands. Take a bite. He offers the cake to me along with a daring raise of his brow. Oh, we're gonna indirectly kiss. Great. I feel like I just walked into a trap. It's a good kind of trap. Hey! I knew that from the beginning, didn't I? I came all here all the same because I wanted it to happen. Yes, you did! You wanted it to happen. He is such a gentleman. I take a small bite of the cake, letting the fluffy sweetness rest on my tongue. Please let there be art. Please let there be art. Please let there be art. Give me art. His chest presses against mine, pinning me to the back of the sofa. Ugh. There's no need to be embarrassed, Richter. I'm turning into Ant Pony. Ah! He breathes those wings against my cheek, pulling my jaw down ever so slightly to part my lips. Art, 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 art! He took off his jacket. Oh, yes! He directly. This is like the most romantic shuzba that I've had the pleasure of reading. Like, guys, this actually happened to me back then. Not to that extent, but you kind of get the picture. I'll discuss it in detail in another video. Mayor teases me with maddeningly light, soft kisses, pulling me back a little bit each time I start to press forward. He's really trying to provoke me, isn't he? Ah, it's working! Ah! I bite down hard on his lower lip, exhaling a lot, impatient breath. Momentarily, his chest presses hard against mine. His kisses suddenly grow more aggressive, hard and deep, so intense that I have to gasp for air whenever I can. I pull his coat off his shoulders, grasping needily at his shirt, letting my hands wander all over his powerful body. How built is he? How built is he? Eh? Just as his tongue starts to slip into my mouth. He breaks the kiss. He pulls back again, this time breaking into a devilish grin. Take off that jacket! If I'd known that you would be so eager, I would have done this a lot sooner. Yes! Are we gonna spend the whole night talking or share more of that cake? Yes! Yes! Share them cakes! Get your cookies! Cookies! Get these cookies! I can't disappoint my favorite detective now, can I? It would be horrible if you clapped me in shackles and brought me in for interrogation after all. No, I would love that. You sound pretty excited about that idea, actually. Yes! And can you blame me? He swipes a finger through the cake's icing, then presses it past my lips. Who wrote this? Best writing! Great! Who? God, the developers have the best writers! I mean, they incorporate the old-timey slang. They write this juicy scene. And even without voices, I'm like, ah! Richter? Oh, sweet lord. Do I have to censor it? I'll censor that, sorry. He suddenly leans in for another kiss, trailing his finger along my bottom lip. This time, he's the impatient one. It greedily swirls inside my mouth, tangling with my own tongue as Mayor presses me roughly against the couch. How far does this get? It's like he can't get enough of me and I can't get enough of him. I grasp his hips and keep him pulled forward, wanting more and more. I will not cut out of this video. Not in the middle of this. As we trade eager wet kisses, my mind hazily wanders towards a certain question. What am I really doing here? Am I trying to live out some detective seduced by mobster fantasy? Or is it like Mayor said? Are we just two men outside of our opposite professions savoring each other's company? If Leslie could see me right now, I don't know what he'd think, or if he'd even find it excusable. But I'm so easily turned away from my duties by a gangster, maybe I was never cut out for this line of work to begin with. Ah! One of Mayor's hands drips down my chest, slipping around my waist to squeeze my hip. I normally wouldn't do this on a first date, especially since I'd like to give you a reason to come back. He heatedly murmurs a string of words between my breathless between breathless kisses, not giving me a moment to reply. But it doesn't feel like you'll need too much convincing. His fingers tease along my inner thigh, sending shivers through me from head to toe. Just a little bit higher. A little higher. Break it up. Break it up. Sorry, was that a frantic knock at the door makes us both jerk apart. Well, Mayor smooths back his hairy clothes, sitting back and clearing his throat. Who could that be? Come in. The men bolt inside. Mr. Eastman! There's a bunch of cops sniffing around outside the joint. Oh no. I think something's about to go down if we don't stop them, Wait. Those are my guys. Safety precaution. I jump up from the sofa, inwardly kicking myself. Damn it, I should have told them to go home earlier. I lost track of time and shit, there's no excuse. It's alright, Richter. Mayor's gentle voice calls to me reassuringly. Go put your men at ease. Maybe some grand stroke of fate, you'll end up here again tomorrow and we can resume our talk. I'm gonna take a break. That was a lot. Look, I didn't even finish this yet. I'm just gonna save, alright? Thank you guys so much for watching. I wanna do more. This is great. Great story. I'm gonna continue some of my other series. Hopefully I can catch up with everything because I have a huge backlog. This is California Macky signing out. Bye for now.